Well, let's stay with this and go to central London now, speak to Persson, who's director of Open Europe. That's a Eurosceptic think tank which calls for reform of the EU. Hello to you. I wonder, which do you actually think is the most important meeting today? On one hand, we've got George Osborne on the extra bill with finance ministers in Brussels, and the other, the Prime Minister in Finland, on the wider reform. Which is the bigger issue for you?
It's quite difficult to tell, actually. It depends on how the story around the £1.7 billion bill turns out, I think. But in terms of the wider reform agenda, clearly the Northern Europe summit is probably more important, because that's where Cameron needs to find some allies for his ideas to achieve sweeping reform of the European Union, including rewriting the rules around free movement of workers and people. But at the same time, though, of course, as we heard in your reports, Osborne is in a very tricky position. This extra bill situation has taken on some symbolic value. If Britain now has to climb down on this one, then I think there will be a lot of very upset people in the UK.
Well, what do you think is likely to happen on that? I mean, there will be a negotiation, won't there, and some sort of compromise in which both sides can present as a victory?
Well, that's normally how things go. I mean, the EU has been in a trickier situation than this before and found a solution. But at the same time, this is quite tricky. It is genuinely very difficult to see a face-saving compromise. Because Cameron has said that he won't pay on December the 1st, but he has also said that he won't pay an amount anywhere near £1.7 billion. And as we heard, other EU leaders are not quite in that territory. So it's not entirely easy to see how Cameron can get out of this one looking good. But at the same time, though, as I said, we've dealt with trickier situations before in Europe, and at the end of the day, maybe something can be solved.
We're still waiting for the big speech from David Cameron before Christmas, apparently, on immigration and the European Union. I mean, do you regard the meeting in Finland, where he seems to be struggling to get allies, in a place you would expect him to, where he has the best chance to, is that likely to be, well, first of all, is it unexpected, and is it likely to be a hurdle for him?
It's not unexpected, and what I always say, and this is incredibly important to keep in mind, there are really two aspects to the free movement debate. On the one hand is the basic right for anyone in the European Union to come and work somewhere, anywhere in the European Union. And on the other hand, we have this debate around access to benefits for EU migrants, who can access what benefits and when, such as healthcare and so forth, access in healthcare and so forth. And on that second point, I think there is a lot of support around Europe and in the Nordic countries as well. But where Cameron will run into trouble is if he tries to put an outright cap on EU migration, if he tries to put quotas or try to pursue a point-based system similar to that which exists for migrants from outside the European Union here in the UK. If it goes there, then I think he will run up against some quite clear limitations in the Nordic countries and elsewhere. But if it sticks to benefits, then I think there's a lot of support, and that will be a very meaningful reform. I must add that. That's not tinkering at the margins, it's meaningful reform. So that is his biggest challenge. We see that very much now with the comments coming out of Northern European leaders. They say, we support you to some extent on the benefit side, but we won't support you if you put a outright cap on EU migration.
Okay, Persson, thank you very much.
Thank you.